What up, y'all? This is Patrick Hayes, and this video is entitled 5 Keys to Finding Your Passion. So what I want to talk about in this video is 5 different really powerful outlooks, perspectives, directions, or approaches to being able to find your passion. Not only a passion, something that you're excited and interested in doing, but a passion that's also fulfilling. So number 1, this is being open. And this is huge because a lot of people that are feeling blocked, that can't find their passion, just don't feel inspired about life, can't find that thing that they're here to do, that gift that they have to share. And this oftentimes happens because over time we get jaded about life, we get less inspired about things, and our outlook on the world is just kind of like, we're bored and we're feeling a bit dismal. And this can happen for many different reasons. One of the reasons can be that we maybe weren't supported in the things that we were interested in as a child, so we didn't develop a real relationship with interests to the point that we developed a passion for a particular thing. Or it could be that we've developed negative associations with a lot of the things in our environment, or just with the world in general. So that when we look out at the world, when we see different things, we're constantly having a feeling of, oh, that sucks, or that's boring, or I don't like that. And when we have that kind of a disposition, it's really hard to get inspired about things. And then it's really hard to continue through with things long enough to start reaping the benefits from it and building a good relationship with our activities to the point where we feel inspired and passionate about the things that we're doing. So the first thing really is being willing to be open. So being willing to first admit if we're jaded and we're feeling bored all the time and we're not inspired about life, admit that, maybe this has something to do with me. Maybe it's not the reality, maybe it's not the external things, but maybe it's the way I'm looking at these things. So maybe I can be willing to open myself up more, to open myself up to the idea that things could be exciting, or maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Maybe this thing that I'm feeling jaded about or upset about, maybe there's a different way of looking at it that can be more uplifting, that isn't so heavy. And by doing that, that can change our relationship to our reality to the point where we might be more open to identifying what our passion is. So we can start looking for the good in things. When we go around in the world, start paying attention to the good in things, the things that we do like. If we see any spark of interest in something, we can say, well, what are the redeeming qualities of that? Instead of going to the, oh, I don't like this about that, or I don't like that about that. If we start focusing more on the redeeming qualities and on the good things, this can inspire more motivation and more excitement about the potential things that we have as an option for our passion. Okay, number 2. Now this is to ask ourselves on a regular basis, what is it that we love? What is it that we hold sacred? It's those things that we love that are actually going to lead us to our passion. So our passion most likely is going to be creating more of what we love, or preserving or protecting those things that we love. So think about the world. Do you love nature? Do you love people? Do you love relationships? Do you love sports? Think of all the different things that you love in the world. And think about, do these things need to be protected? Is there a way to bring more of this thing that I love into the world? How can I bring more of this into the world? How can I share more of this with other people? Or how can I preserve more of this in the world? How can I protect these things that I love in the world? And this can give you some really keen insights as to the direction that you can travel to start exploring more of what you're passionate about. And this step kind of bleeds into the next step, because the next step is about exploring, being open to explore. But one of the techniques that you want to use while you're exploring is constantly asking yourself, what is it that I love here? What is it that I value? What is it that I love that I could bring more into the world, that I could create more of? And what is it that I love that maybe I could protect or preserve or keep intact for other people to enjoy? And as you move into exploration, which is step number 3, being open to explore, you want to continue to ask yourself that question. Now, exploration is big because if you're not willing to explore, if you're just going to sit on your couch and say, there's nothing that I like to do, and I'm not going to go out and explore things, then you're not going to find anything. So the idea is you got to get off your ass, you got to get out there and start doing things that are different. Start doing new things and exploring things and trying to focus on the good, like I mentioned from step number 1. You want to focus on the good in things so that you can juice yourself up. Sometimes if you're jaded, what you have to do is you have to work on juicing yourself up. You can't expect the outside world necessarily to light you up. And if you're in that kind of position where you have a lot of dead weight and you're not able to get inspired by things, then what you have to do is you have to actually focus on inspiring yourself by identifying the good in things and psyching yourself up about it. And you have to do this while you're exploring new things. So even though it might not sound fun, if you don't feel passion for anything, you have to maybe try something that doesn't sound fun and see if you can focus on the good things within that and see if you can find something within there that you love. Find something within there that you value. And if you're open to exploring, meaning you're open to doing things that are different and trying new things, then that is going to put you in a world where there's many more opportunities for you to find something that you're passionate about. But you have to be open to explore and then be willing to commit yourself long enough to actually walk away with something tangible from whatever that thing is you're exploring. Right? So don't just dance around to a bunch of different things and not actually commit yourself. Commit yourself to something. And you can explore a few things in the beginning, but don't spend too much time just hopping around. What you want to do is you want to actually find something that you can commit yourself to. It doesn't need to be a super long period of time, but at least enough to walk away with something tangible, something that you have deemed valuable, that you can walk away with, whether that be a skill set or a deeper understanding or a relationship, whatever it is, something you can walk away with that's valuable. And then you will feel rewarded from that process because you've left with value, and that can inspire you to keep exploring or to keep pursuing the particular thing that you may have found an interest in. Okay, key number 4. This is to embrace the downside. This is a major block for a lot of people. Everything has a downside. Even if it seems like it's all upside at first, what you'll realize is that there are some things about any craft, about any path, about any activity that you like more than other things. And if you spend enough time doing that activity, you'll be able to start differentiating the part of it that you like the most and the part of it that you don't like as much. Well, the idea here is if you're negative or you're feeling blocked or you can't find a passion, you can't get inspired, you're feeling bored all the time, chances are you hyper-focus on those areas that are the downside. And the downsides oftentimes take the wind out of your sails and make you feel uninspired about doing whatever the thing is that you may be interested in doing or thinking about doing. So what you want to do is start to embrace the downside. Whenever you start doing something new, you'll notice that your mind will start organizing the things that you like to do and then kind of identifying the things that you don't like to do. And you'll kind of organize them into 2 different categories, and there's maybe quite a few gradients in between the 2 different categories, but essentially you'll be able to start identifying, well, listen, this part of it is kind of like the downside. This is the grunt work. This is the part that I don't like as much. And this is the part that I really like about it. So once you realize that you're starting to do that, then what you can do is you can start focusing on the redeeming qualities of the downside, so that you can actually continue to motivate yourself to take action towards that particular thing and not ruin it for you. Because if you hyper focus on the downside, then what happens is you make it actually worse than it really is, and then you develop a mental and emotional block to that particular thing, and then you won't want to do it anymore. So you have to be aware that your consciousness may have a tendency to do this, especially if you're the type of person that has a hard time being inspired or motivated to do things. You might have a tendency to look at the downside and let the downside ruin everything for you. But one of the things you have to realize is that everything has a downside. So you have to flip it into your favor. Okay, number 5, and this one is really big for creating a passion that is sustainable, that is also fulfilling. And this is finding a way to take that thing you're interested in and turn it into something that is of service to other people, whether that be of service like a service that you share or a good or a product or something that you can give to other people. And this is really powerful because what this does is this rounds out your life in a lot of different ways. One, it gives you a sense of value. You naturally are going to feel better when you're offering value to the world. When you have something valuable that you can offer to other people, you are going to feel like a more valuable person because, quite honestly, you are a more valuable person when you have value to share other people. If you have a value that you're sharing other people, something that other people are interested in, something that other people value, they will appreciate you as a person, and you will be able to be compensated energetically for what you're doing also, because people will appreciate you. And it feels really good to be appreciated. This is going to help your confidence. This is going to help your momentum. It's going to help you in a whole lot of different ways. Not to mention that it's actually going to help you to be more sustainable in this venture, because if it's a service that you can give to other people, if it's offering value to other people, then you can eventually monetize this thing. And through monetization, then you will be compensated financially for your activities. Because it's a magical thing when you can do something that you love, when you find something that you're actually passionate about, and you can do it on a regular basis and give your all to this thing that you're passionate about, and you're being compensated monetarily for this thing that you're doing, then you've really unlocked one of the major puzzles of this reality. You've been able to harness all of your excitement energy in a way where it actually supports you to continue doing that. And this creates a snowball effect where you can really expand as a person, because the very thing that fuels you is actually what also sustains you. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. If you haven't hit the bell button, make sure to hit the bell button, and then you'll be notified every time I release a new video. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time. One love.